It is laundry day in my household, which means it is a really good day to stick it to the man. And by that, I mean we're gonna stick it to the man with style, in style. Stay with me. So my wardrobe is solidly 98% secondhand, vintage, thrifted, all of that fun stuff. I actually have used that app index and put everything in there to get the actual number. I'm not going to share my closet with you guys. It feels a little personal, but it verges between 97 and 99%. The only things that I am willing to occasionally buy new are shoes, because sometimes vintage shoes aren't in great condition. I will, new underwear and the like. And sometimes, because I am a plus size girly, I do need to buy pants. But I do try to source those vintage or secondhand if at all possible. Hey, buddy. So what does that mean? That means that I do end up with some pieces that are exceptional quality, but there's a little something wrong with them, a little something needs mended, a little something needs fixing. And so we're going to do a little bit of that today, because like I said, it is laundry day. We're folding, we're washing, we're drying. We are gonna be dying. So these are these fun, I think I've only ever found them in Europe, dye pods that you just stick straight in the washer. I've got quite a few pieces that could just use a little color zhuzh. So let's sort of sort the laundry first. This is the to be fixed, zhuzhed, upgraded pile. So let's see what we've got. Got a couple St. John tank tops. These are 100% wool. These are timeless. These are classic. These are easier to take care of than you think of. But they've got some staining. I was able to get them for a steal. So we're going to dye these. I did try to get the stains out, and I'm pretty adept at that. I can usually get the stains out of most things. But these, they seem to be very long set stains that can't get out. So we're going to do that. I've got this little cotton summer dress. It's a little large for me, but I think I want to dye it a really dark, beautiful green and kind of take in the sights. A St. John piece that I purchased secondhand that showed up with way more damage than was in the listing, and that can happen sometimes. I worked with the seller. I got my money back, but they told me to keep the item, so there we go. This, I think I'm just going to dye it straight black. And then this is a little nightgown top that got used, I think, by someone as maybe a smock, or maybe there was just some dye transfer. I don't know, but it's adorable. I don't know that it's going to take the dye because it is very synthetic. But since I got it for, I think, about $1, I'm not too worried about it. Now, ooh, what else have I got? I've got this gorgeous little linen 60s dress that I unfortunately used a little too much borax when I was initially cleaning it, because it was very typical vintage, musty, smelly. So I sort of messed up the color on this one. It does look very much like Japanese shibori, but I think dyeing this straight black, I'll get much more wear out of it. All right, now how does upgrading your clothes that you buy secondhand stick it to the man? Well, I think if you're watching this, then you most likely know that being intentional with where your money goes and maybe not giving it to big conglomerates, giant corporations that are doing nothing for the environment and are maybe contributing to societal harm, it's something you got to look out for. So if you can spend your dollars maybe in a local, vintage shop or flea market, or maybe it's a neighborhood buy nothing group, or maybe it is, a local boutique, or even if it is a small eBay or Etsy seller, and you can kind of find someone who's somewhat local to you so the shipping doesn't become, a big issue. Doing all of that and doing that with intention and not over consuming, but consuming intentionally really does tell the big wigs in charge how you want your money spent, what is important to you, and allows you to express that through where you give your dollars. And dollars are what is considered important, right? So choosing to do this lets you opt out of a lot of that. Now, what you need to do first is you really have to develop a personal sense of style. That doesn't mean your style can't evolve. It doesn't mean you have to be crazy, wild, unique, but you need to know how you want to dress so that you can very intentionally seek out pieces that'll allow you to dress that way. It's going to be a little more difficult for you than someone who can just walk into a shop and sort of buy the latest trends. Not that you can't find those things, especially with how fast the trend cycle is now, but you need to really get clear on how you want to dress. Then you want to source those in a way that makes sense for you, whether that again is a secondhand site online, or if it is sort of a local thing, if it is your thrift store. You can also, be finding things new with tags on upscale sites. I'm not saying you have to go for the dollar tank top. You can absolutely buy very high-end things, from a resale site or a secondhand site. So you just need to know what it is that you're looking for, and then decide how you're going to find it, and then allow yourself time to create this curated wardrobe, with the understanding that there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to need to, let's say with that vintage bag, condition the leather, or with some, natural fibers where staining happens, that you're going to need to maybe dye some stuff someday. So let's do that. Again, I'm not calling them piles of doom, but this is another pile of things to be fixed, mended, upgraded. I've got this amazing pair of vintage slacks. Everything's too long for me because I'm short, but that's okay. We're all right with that. Again, these are incredibly high-end, very fancy rich lady pants. These pants new, which these were new with tags, but I got them at a secondhand shop. These are like $300 for the pants, which some people want to spend that much. And again, these are going to last me forever. I did not spend that much. Still looking forward to these lasting me forever, because they will. Because the quality of this stuff is just better than anything you're going to get new these days. So the reason so much of my wardrobe, again, it ranges from 97 to 99%, depending on how specific you're trying to get. The reason that it is what it is number one, it is fun. It is a creative and fun way to find, style, and it is so much fun, and it requires so much creativity to find those unique pieces and then to style them in a new way that's very personal. And if you've been following along, this is my year of creativity, of rediscovering my creative self. Oh wow, I did not realize how much jewelry in here needs to be fixed. I've sort of been collecting these pieces. Again, some are secondhand finds that show up a little damaged. Some are, I've purchased them knowing that. Some are things that I've just been a little rough on and I'm the cause. But let's take a look and see what's going on. So number two, it is a really fun way to engage in creativity every day without having to bust out an easel or, an entire knitting kit or something. It is something you have to do anyway, most likely. You can make it an event as much as you want, but if your entire wardrobe is personalized and styled in a way that makes you happy and was bought intentionally and is creative and is fun, then it's going to be an easy creative outlet. So number three, back to my original point, it is purchasing clothes secondhand, mending things, being unique, being creative in your style. Again, it is a real nice FU to fast fashion and companies that genuinely don't care. Now, I know for a lot of plus size girls out there, you might be thinking, but it's really, really difficult to find plus sized secondhand that you like. I totally understand feeling that way, which is again why, number one, you got to come up with your personal style. But number two, it genuinely comes down to knowing your measurements not caring what a size tag says and giving yourself time to find high quality good pieces. Once you get in that mindset versus just running out and buying the super cute trendiest thing, you know, at the thrift store, you're gonna have a much higher rate of success. Again, I'm very much plus sized. I'm about 14, 16. And again, my entire wardrobe is secondhand. So it is absolutely doable. You just have to start focusing on your measurements, really putting in the effort to understand how to search for things, where to search for things, and find those places where you really learn how to shop. And whether that, again, that means a no-buy group, clothing swaps, flea markets, your local thrift shop, really doing it to a point where you understand how, where, when to buy the best things, and knowing your measurements and knowing what it is you're looking for. That is the best way to curate a secondhand wardrobe for yourself. All right, we've got a much larger pile, again, than I was expecting. These earrings that I'm going to take from clip-on to post, which someone has already done. They've gone the other way, I think, or they just replaced the original clip-on because this little chain does not match the clip-on piece. So I think I'm returning them to their original glory. And these buttons, I really think I want to make either earrings, or I don't know, maybe I want to embellish a top. Oh, that's what I want to do. I want to put these like on the neckline of a top. I want to find a nice, maybe one of the ones we're dyeing today could add these to the top. Ooh, I'm excited about that. These, if you saw my last video, I found these in the antique mall in Wisconsin. I love these. I think I got these for like $4. The posts are not in great condition. Here's the thing, they are clips, but they don't stay on as clips. They're incredibly heavy and they just aren't as tight as they need to be, so I am going to replace them with posts, which some people have real issue with changing vintage jewelry, but if I modify it, it's staying with me forever, so it's not going to affect anyone else. And if it's a designer piece, if it's a name that someone might want after I'm dead, maybe I leave it, but these are not. These seem fairly inexpensive from, I'd say, the mid-90s. I love these, but I need to change those posts as well. These need some rub and buff. These are these fantastic earrings that I have matching ring to. These open up and you can change out the color. I mean, how unique is that? That's not a thing that you find very often these days. So I need to change the color on those. And broken. But see, I knew this when I purchased it, that this post was going to be broken. If it wasn't broken, I wouldn't change it to a post, but I am going to, simply because it is already broken. So I'm not damaging it any further. Unfortunately, the designer name is on this, and I could glue it back on, I suppose, but I do actually have another pair of these. I'll save these if I ever want to reconvert. Since it is broken already, I can reconvert. But for now, I'm going to add some posts and I'm going to fix the gold tone, I think. Oh, this fell off. I remember when this fell off, I purchased this at a vintage flea market, and I promptly just put it on because I didn't have a bag, like a purse. And then I went to lunch, and promptly this big piece had fallen off by the time we left lunch. little jewelry repair kit. Start with this super easy piece. Okay. Down. Now I did try to wear them as clip-ons. They did not stay. So doing what needs must. Buddy. I'm so excited to wear these. While we were fixing jewelry, mailman came, and I'm 90% sure these are two vintage items that I had purchased. I think eBay would be my best guess, but let's open them, see what they are. Hopefully it's something for me and not something I bought as a gift for someone else. I do also buy the bulk of my gifts at resale shops or secondhand, or I tend to buy experiences for people. But for people who are weirded out about secondhand gifts, not everything has to be clothing, right? You can get way more personal and way more unique if you just start thinking early. I already have a list for Christmas of things that I've overheard people say they're looking for, or that they want, or that they collect. I'm on it. They have really wrapped these up. These are a lot of vintage earrings. I went very old school eBay on this and actually, like, you know, bid on them, which most people don't run auctions anymore. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is vintage Avon from like the 70s and 80s. All right, so classic shrimp earrings. Can't believe I found these. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. These are fantastic. Look at these. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got some shrimp earrings. We've got floral garden pierced earrings. And these are really pretty. These are very late 70s, early 80s. Love those. These are very much party style. I love them. And then these little sort of jelly belly guys. Oh, I love these. Very excited about those. Package number 2. I think I know what this is. This is a purse. A handbag, if you will. I was not saving these to do for this video today. This happenstance. Thank you, mailman. Which is why I'm not set up to do a haul. Like Christmas, even though I purchased these. Oh, this is what I'm talking about when I say you get to be creative and unique on a daily basis if you really start being more intentional with where you spend your money. Look at this bag. Look at this. This is my favorite color, this poppy red orange. This is a vintage bag designer named Morris Moskowitz. I am obsessed with him. The style. So it's a big clutch with a strap that detaches so you can use it just as a clutch. I love multi-purpose. Give me multi-purpose any day. It's not in the absolute best, you know, mint condition, but that's okay by me. I don't mind that things look a little lived in, have a little history. I've got leather conditioner, I've got leather cleaner. We'll give her a nice little clean and she'll have a fabulous new life. So not only do I collect and love this designer, but I truly needed I have a very small little red bag. I needed a larger red bag recently, and I've sort of gotten into a space where I try not to buy things just to buy things. I do keep a list of, oh, you know, I'm getting ready, I'm trying to put together an outfit, I need to go somewhere to do a particular thing, and I realize like, oh, I really needed a green shirt here, or I really could use fill in the blank. I very much, again, think of curating this secondhand and vintage wardrobe as a creative practice, as a hobby. I don't have any other expensive hobbies, so this is it. So this is, you know, partially, again, part of my creative practice, and I think that is something I've actually really recently come to acknowledge. I was sort of beating myself up for buying some new clothes, which I actually needed because my body was changing and things weren't fitting, and I had to buy some new clothes, and I was wondering aloud if I was just, you know, making excuses. And I was reminded that, well, A, clothes are a necessity, clothes that fit are a necessity, and that B, this is my hobby, and that it is something that is intentional, and that I do keep things for years and years and years, and I don't buy fast fashion that just gets tossed and, you know, wreaks havoc in the world out there. So I love this bag. I love that I got to share opening this with you. I'm not a, you know, thrift store haul kind of person, but, you know, it happened while we were here and we were talking about how to curate secondhand clothing and create style and be creative and using it to stand up to the man. So love that this all worked out. My clothes are downstairs going through their second spin. Jewelry is drying. sort of didn't work again. So now there's just blotches. Oh, it's such a cool dress and it fits me perfectly. Just can't get it to take dye, and unfortunately I messed up. It's totally my fault. Just accidentally got borax on it. It was not like that. Okay, now this, worth it. So I hoped it was going to come out all one color, green, but it's like this funky speckly color, and you absolutely cannot see the stain anymore. And I guarantee you this is not a color St. John normally makes. Ah, this is fun. Okay, I love this. I am going to get so much wear out of this. As you can see, we've got some successes with fixing the jewelry, upgrading the jewelry, and I'm so excited because now I can actually wear things that have just been kicking around for a while, waiting for the love and attention that they deserve. So on to the dyeing experiment. So as you can see, we've got some wins. I'm so excited with how this came out. We also have some fails, so let's walk through them. So first off, the win, like this is the tank top and the sweater. Did they come out black? No, not even a little bit, but they came out this really interesting sort of neutral mossy brownish, and I bought this as sort of a very comfortable set that I could wear while working from home, so I absolutely love it. I'm already wearing it. Again, it's a couple days later because everything had to dry and do its thing, but I am absolutely calling these two a win for sure. Then we also have another win. This is the bright yellow version of this top, which was the white one. Did it come out the emerald green that I was hoping? Absolutely not. But it came out this a very sort of mottled grass color. And if you had asked me, hey, do you want these clothes to be strange neutral tones, very reminiscent of, you know, the outdoors, I would have said no. But I genuinely really love how this came out. So we've got the green. Unfortunately, we've got a couple fails. So the little gingham dress, not only did it not come out well, it came out just spotted, and the dye is uneven, and the dye has really highlighted all the imperfections that were in this dress. I knew there were some. Again, this was a dress I was going to take in and do all sorts of kind of upgrading to anyway, but it just did not come out at all. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. I might just keep it as like, I've got some chores to do, let me throw this on. And then the dress that I was trying to dye for maybe, I don't know, the third time, I have to acknowledge that this dress is just not going to take dyes. I don't know what it's made of. I've tried synthetic dye and I've tried dye for natural fabrics, and it didn't take either one. The only thing that it's done is still, again, it got borax in its cleaning liquid, and it removed some color. So I don't know. The other option is to bleach it, go full tie-dye with it. I'm not quite sure. But I love the cut of this dress. I love the buttons on it. I might, again, just have to use this as a around the house chore dress. So unfortunately, that's a fail. And then the unexpected win was the little shrug that or what is it? Not a shrug, duster, robe, that I didn't think was going to take any color. And I just tossed it in because, again, it showed up sort of accidentally stained by the buyer or the seller. Wow, having struggles today. It not only did it take the black color, but it turned it into this really strange, interesting rose coppery, like a rose gold color. And I absolutely love it. So I'm calling this an unexpected win. So win, I think, you know, in terms of wins versus losses, we're in the wins column. So hopefully you've got some inspiration to start thrifting, start second-handing, upcycling your clothes for several reasons, right? Number one is daily creativity. You get to engage in a creative act every single time you get dressed. It's just energizing. It's fun. It allows you as an adult to play dress up. What's better than that? It also allows you to opt out of overconsumption, of the latest trends, of what everyone is telling you you're supposed to, quote unquote, be wearing. And you get to develop your own sense of style. And it allows you to express yourself outwardly, which, again, if we're talking ways to stick it to the man with style, expressing yourself, being creative, opting out of the overconsumption wheel, it allows you to take a stand against what's very literally being sold to you. If you have another way that you love to opt out and be creative with your style, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Please share your tips, share your ideas. Let's make sure that we're inspiring others to do the same. I think right now it's more important than ever. It's not just about being the cool, arty person anymore. It truly is about standing up for and expressing your values. So please, if you've got tips, if you've got ideas, if you've got favorite ways to do this, please do share. I'm going to continue finishing this project. You may remember this from before. I'm almost done embroidering the front panel of this purse. I'm so excited about it. I'm loving the way that it came out. And then I'm going to finish that up. And then I'm going to do a little creative roulette again. I thought that was really fun, so I'm going to get started on that. But as I finish this up and I start yet another creative project, I just want to remind you to stay true to yourself, express yourself, get arty, get weird, get creative, and I'll see you next time.